Welcome to another Unreal Foos tutorial. Today I want to show you how to do an open-handed pull kick. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing before you start actually shooting pull kicks, one of the first things that I tell people to start learning and is to basically do this this type of skill right here, which is I don't know how I would really call it, maybe cradling the ball, but it's basically going back and forth with the ball like this. So it's not like you're just going back and forth and tic-tacking. It's essentially bringing the ball, and you can see that either this guy or this guy will come down and meet the ball. And this is sort of a this is a common skill that you have to have. Also, for example, if you do a pull shot, when you go and you're setting up for a pull, as you're pushing the ball, this middle guy comes and meets the ball and then walks or cradles the ball until it gets to the setup spot. So the same thing for a pull kick. When you're going to set up your pull kick, you really need to have this skill where you're moving back and forth, and when the ball's going towards this outside guy, which is the one that's going to be pulling, then you need to be able to meet the ball and have it walk slowly until you get to the spot where you're gonna set up your pull kick. So before you start shooting pull kicks, do this type of exercise where you can start either going from this guy to the middle guy, and notice that even if the ball moves one way or another, I can use these guys by rotating them a little bit to move the ball in or out. So if I want the ball to move back a little bit, I can push it this way, and then I can keep going like that. So my table's a little bit unleveled here, but I should still be able to control it. So practice that, and then just in general, practice going from this guy to this guy, from here to here, either way, or just going where you can have the ball go behind or in front, like that. So that's one of the skills that you really need to work on and practice, so that it makes it easier to set up the pull kick. So okay, so now that we have that skill, I would suggest that when you're going to do this open-handed pull kick, that you set up the same way that I showed on my push kick tutorial, that I typically like to set it up on this outside part of the goal. Same thing with the pull kick. I typically like to set it up close to this one line on the outside part of the goal box. So to set it up, you go. Again, use that skill that we talked about, moving the ball back and forth. And then you go, and if you feel like you have a good pin right there, typically what I like to do is I like to set up the ball just a little bit behind the bar. And so then when I'm moving back and forth, if the ball is too far in, again, I'll rotate the guy so that I can move the ball to the spot that I'm comfortable with. In this case, once again, it's just a little bit, if I look at it from the top, it's just a little bit outside, on the outside part of the rod. So about half a ball. So like that. And then once I have this, then again now, the open-handed pull kick, you basically have to have, with any kick shot, you have to have a dink option, and then you can start working in your actual pull kicks, your kick shots. So if I go here and I set up, first thing obviously that you need to learn is to be able to dink the ball. So for the dink, again, you go as soon as you set up, is you're basically moving the ball either very slightly or not at all, and then just coming on top of the ball and brushing the ball like that. The amount of movement here really depends on where you want to hit your dink shot. So if you're going to the short hole, you're really not gonna move. You're not gonna move the ball too much. But if you wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dink, so that it, you know, maybe somebody's giving you a reverse defense like this, and they're giving you you know, more of a raised defense to the long and giving you a long or a deep dink shot here, then you'll probably want to move the ball a little bit when you go dink towards the middle. So, you know, to do something like that. So that would be the first option. And then also another big thing that I usually tell people is once you set up and you're set up right here, take your time. So don't always just go here and then do your shot. Go set it up, then take your time. You know, you can put fakes like this where you go around. So practice going around the ball like this. That's another exercise that you can do, just sitting there and going around the ball, going back and forth. But once you're set up and you're actually ready to take a shot, you know, take some shots or do some fakes just to see what the defense is doing. And sometimes you can just sit here and look at what the defense is doing. So if I go here and I sit and I see that, you know, maybe somebody is just showing me a long haul, and I can just put a fake and see if they react there or if they're just staying there. Sometimes what I can do, if I sit there, I can just bring the ball like that and just sort of just to get an idea of whether they're really trying to race me or whether they're just, you know, maybe doing more of a random defense or you know, just to get an idea of what the defense is doing. But again, I'll take my time. I'll survey the defense, and based on that, then I can make a decision as to which hole I want to shoot. So again, I talked about the dinks. Now, if I want to be able to shoot a long or middle or even a short where I'm actually pulling, the next option here is that's probably good to learn when doing a pull kick, is that when you're setting up for your pull kick, this is actually, it's almost like you're shooting a pull with this guy. So you're not actually pulling and kicking, you're basically just going and basically hitting a pull shot with the same guy. So if I'm here, I'm just going and basically doing a short pull, and this is not a trivial shot. It actually takes a little bit of practice because you do have to square it, or you can spray it, which is more of a dink. But but you should really learn to do a quick square, and this typically works well. You know, when you see somebody that's, you know, they're just sort of teasing you here, and then they move out of that, and you can go quickly to that short. The next options, obviously now it's doing the pull kick option, and then varying the distance. So whether it's you know, shooting middles or longs, what I typically do again is I set up, I survey, I set up the ball where I want to shoot it. Now where when I'm ready to shoot it, again, I'm gonna circle, get right next to the ball, and which is also one of the keys to any shot, the pull kicks or pulls, is to being right next to the ball. And at this point, you know, again, when I'm gonna shoot a long pull kick, I'm gonna be pulling, and since this is an open-handed shot, as soon as I'm pulling, then I'm gonna try to meet the ball here and go up and hit the ball like that. So it takes a little bit of practice to get. So, you know, just doing that like that. So practice that compact swing, so that as you're pulling, you're doing that open-handed shot. And so again, this is what it looks like in real time. You know, again, if I'm gonna shoot a long, I'll do that. And then another way that I typically like to shoot the long is putting in a little fake here, where you know, the fact that I'm walking the ball back and forth to set up, sometimes what I'll do is, if I see that the defense just kind of walks along with me as I'm doing this type of setup, they move here and back, I'll do this little fake, right, where it looks like gonna meet the ball, and then I'm gonna go back. But instead of doing that, then I'll just move one extra ball and then hit, and that typically can get you a free point here or there. But again, shooting middle or long, it's essentially the same thing. It's just depends on the distance of how much you're gonna pull and actually hit. So start out by, again, setting up, taking your time. Start out by doing something, by pulling or by doing your pull a little bit slower, and then you can increase your speed. So if you do something like that, like a little bit, if you do it a little bit slower and then hit the ball, then that's fine. And eventually you can try to improve your speed. So like that. So again, this is what I would tell somebody who's starting to do a pull kick. Learn to circle around the ball, learn the skill of being able to cradle the ball like this and set up. Then once you set up, take your time, put fakes, bring the ball, try to see what the defense is doing, learn to do dinks. And again, then go set up, and next time, if you feel that a long is open or a different type of option, just take your time, look at it, and again, when you're gonna do another tip for doing the long is what I typically do is as I'm pulling, like when I set up right here, is I'm pulling and I have a very compact backswing, so I'm not really going up very high. I'm just, so it's pretty much like this, and it's a quick, compact, open-handed shot. So the faster you can get it, you can get that timing down and get a nice, fast and long pull kick. So I hope this helps. Send me some comments and questions, and let me know if this helps and if there's anything else that I didn't cover that you'd like to see. Thanks.